Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ReelQuick, episode 51. This is our patron-sponsored movie review. We are going to be talking about Sing Street from 2016. Shout out to our patron, Al, for the recommendation. As always, everyone, check out our Patreon, check out the tiers, check out the perks. One of the perks is being able to obviously decide a movie for all of us to watch, as well as a draft or a trivia or a ranking of choice that you guys want to hear us talk about. There are also obviously a ton of other perks, movie watch-alongs, personalized video messages, monthly giveaways. So check that out if you haven't. And as always, we are all over social media. So be sure to follow us. Be sure to rate us, 5 stars wherever you can. Obviously, the engagement means the world to us. It also just pushes us out to more people here and there, which is obviously a big goal of ours. We are also pushing 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think we're just about getting there in a little bit. So hopefully we reach that milestone soon. And as always, I'm joined alongside Tyler and Cameron. Seth could not make it this week. Seth, we miss you, and we do hope you're having a fantastic weekend.
And we hope you watch Sing Street.
And we hope you do watch Sing Street because we do love this movie. This is a movie, and let's just get right into it. This is a movie I feel like I've recommended on TikTok thousands of times. Thousands of times have I talked about this movie. One of my longtime guys that I've been subscribed to on YouTube, Austin Burke. I'm sure you guys have seen him. He kind of put me on the Sing Street wave. He talked about it very in depth and just talked very highly of it. And I saw that video he posted a year or two ago, and I've just been obsessed with this movie ever since. It's one of my favorite coming of age films. It's one of my favorite romantic comedies out there. This was not a first watch for both of you.
For me, it was.
For you, it was. So we'll start with Tyler. What were your thoughts on this absolute glorious, heartwarming masterpiece?
Yeah, I loved it. For some reason, I've always seen the Sing Street, the main poster on IMDb, and I always think of Green Day for some reason. Like, it just looks a lot like Billy Joel Armstrong.
Yeah.
For some reason. So, for the longest time, I thought this was, a Green Day biopic, which, honestly, I hope gets made one day. This is not it. But this is a great, coming-of-age story that's also, what I love is it starts with such a simple plot. The plot's basically, a guy wants to create a band because he sees this older girl that he's attracted to and wants to impress her. And she's a model. And he's basically like, oh, how can I get her to be, talking to me and hanging out with me? He's like, well, I'm in a band. We're shooting a music video. You want to star in it? So it's a very, simple romance type story where it's I'm just going to create a band with some friends in order to impress a girl. Which also just, as, a 25-year-old, just, a depressing plot because it's such a life was so simple back then type thing where you're just in high school and what you do in your free time, you're let's just start a band with the boys and just have some fun. It's yeah, man, that's just not a thing anymore. I'm sure Cam can relate with a kid and stuff. It's just you can't just do spur of the moment things like that. But
lots of fun in the future. But yeah,
right. No, for sure. Maybe your son can be his own Sing Street, But so yeah, it starts out very simple and then quickly you realize this gets into much deeper themes of the brotherhood mainly between him and his brother, but really just the whole family in general, family dynamics. Aidan Gillen and his mom are clearly going through a rough marriage at the time, and things are just not working well. There's a lot of yelling in the household. The kids are really kind of left to do whatever, and the parents aren't really involved in their life, and he has to join a new school because they can't afford to put him in his old school anymore. So it goes from just a simple romance plot to a lot deeper about growing up in a broken home and trying to get through things with your family. And I really enjoyed it. I think the only negative knock is I've seen so many coming of age stories because I just freaking love that genre so much that for me, it falls into some common tropes and common some little corny bits that can be prevalent in a lot of coming of age stories, which I think maybe I'm just more sensitive to since I've seen so many of them. But other than that, the music was awesome in this. I loved the set piece when they were doing the prom, when they did the prom performance, but it was the vision of what it actually was. When they had the fake knife fight and everything. I was oh, this is sick scene.
Yeah.
And then lastly, before I'll pass it over to someone else, Jack Rayner, who plays his brother, one of my favorite performances ever. His whole arc in the movie is just so good. How he's just literally living vicariously through his brother and just everything he's unable to achieve in life, he's just hoping his brother's able to achieve up until the very end. And when he's in the car, cheering and screaming, I was damn, that was just a good ass performance that wasn't really in your face because he wasn't in the movie a ton, but he was so good. He was definitely my favorite part of the movie for sure. But 8.4 out of 10 for 4 stars, which means it's like just a feather away from being a 4.5 star, just like right on the border. Definitely on rewatch, I think it'll go up because this is like a movie that's just my cup of tea that I'll definitely be rewatching. So yeah, it'll probably be like a 4.5 when I rewatch it.
Yeah, I rewatch this movie all the time, and I don't know. I feel like I kind of fall into the same category as you, where like, yeah, I've seen so many coming of age films that like you can kind of point out like cliches here and there, but I don't know. There's something about this movie that just takes it to another level of like depth and emotion. Obviously, you mentioned like the parents, their dynamic, the brother relationship, and then like his like life at school. There's just so much going on here that like just echoes like a coming of age experience of whatever he is, an 8th or 9th, 10th grader. That I absolutely loved. And there's just so many amazing in this movie character moments that I really fucking love, particularly that final, scene where his older brother is kind of like yelling at him, like basically saying like, I am living like through you. Like that entire like fucking conversation just put me to tears every single time. And then, just even something as simple as like the scene where they're on the bus after shooting their music video and the two of them are just looking at each other. I love it. I think the score is just emotional. And it kind of plays really well into like what they're going for here. Cam, I know you've seen it before, but what are your thoughts on this movie?
Yeah, basically everything you all said. I don't want to, just reiterate everything. I think this movie looks so goddamn good. Every like shot of just like, and maybe it's just how Ireland looks because this was filmed on location, and I'm an idiot who lives in the US, so nothing's pretty in the Midwest. It just looks so damn well, or so damn good. The cinematography is great. I think that's almost the best part of this movie is just how it's shot. I like the music. I don't love the music in this one, I'll be honest. And I think that's almost like the biggest deterrent for me. I love the story. But like things like, I can't even think right now, but just other musical movies. We talked about it like Mamma Mia 2, or, one that I love. We talked about that on the Real Pod this week, or God damn it. What's the movie Andrew Garfield's in? Hit Me, Tyler. Tick, Tick, Boom. Thank you. Yeah, y'all love it. Great. Good movies that I really enjoy. I think I enjoy this movie better, but I enjoy the music in those better. So I don't feel like I come back to the music in this one as much. And that's not a huge like.
Does it change your outlook if I tell you, and I don't know if this is what like the filmmakers were going for. I don't think this has like the best music of a musical ever.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the point, but like I think they're going for, okay, they're literally high schoolers who are creating a fake band randomly. Like they shouldn't be making good music.
Yeah, I get that, and probably would help. Like I have this thing at a 92 out of 100. I love this thing. I really enjoy the story and everything from it. And the music I enjoy, I just don't love. I was just kind of throwing out a point about it. I don't know if that really detracts or adds that. Like they obviously are just high schoolers that are throwing this band together on a whim. I think I don't know. I'm not going to add to that.
I think I go along that train of thought that George was saying, like how it's like, it's like what it is. Like they start their own band and they start off like even their brothers like this sucks and it gets better. Cause like I'm the same way, like to where like their early songs, like, even when they were supposed to be like good at that point, like I wasn't like loving them, but like the prom scene and like the final music, like I did start to enjoy those more, so I thought it got better.
I enjoy it. Drive It Like You Stole It's a really good song. I was looking up all the song names earlier, and I think Drive It Like You Stole It is the best one, most and that's the most important one, obviously, because it's because it is like the ending culmination song. But I don't even know if that is a deterrent. It is pretty straightforward. Coming of age story. I don't have an issue with that necessarily because I do love this genre so much. But I would say, you guys are exactly correct. It is pretty straightforward. This director, John Carney, did Begin Again, and I didn't even know what I watched that movie like 3 weeks ago, maybe probably a lot longer at this point, maybe like a month or two ago. And I really enjoyed that. I do think this is better, but I did really enjoy Begin Again as well.
And this movie is still a 5 out of 5 for me. It's I don't know. I just absolutely love it. But the one thing that like if you look at like my ranking of like all my 5 out of 5, it's like further to the back. The one thing that like holds it back from like being rated a little higher is the relationship with the bully. I feel like that's one part of the movie that just got resolved like a bit.
Yeah.
Like it was like this bully was beating the fuck out of him, just torturing him throughout high school. And then like one scene he stands up for himself, and then the next scene he's like joining the band, and I'm like, okay,
that is the most like is the most
cliche coming of age.
Right. It's like it's like the Fableman's bully story. It's just like the corniest part of the movie for sure. But yeah, like I also obviously I've never even been to the UK or Ireland or anywhere in Europe for that matter. So I don't know how unrealistic and treacherous is that final boat like trip. If you're going on a little
buoy,
to go from Ireland to England, they were going to, like, is that like, I don't know is that like something that's like no way would they ever do it, or is it like if it's a nice day you could, is that like a 10-hour journey, or is that like 90 minutes, like I don't know.
Yeah, I can assure you we're not the ones to ask. I wish Seth, and obviously he doesn't live in Ireland, but he has a little bit more knowledge of that part of the world than us. I have no clue on where.
So is this? But yeah, like Jack Reynor was just definitely my favorite performance like of the movie. Like the final scene was so good in the car, but then also like when he's like, "Sorry, I'm just on edge" or whatever because I haven't had hash in 3 days, and his brother's like, "Why the hell haven't you had hash?" He's like, "Dude, don't you get it? Like I'm trying to get my life together. Like I'm not just a joke."
Yeah.
And that whole monologue was so good.
Yeah, he does. That whole the older brother's character is just one that just falls under the radar as just being like it's not like one of the greatest character arcs ever, but like in a coming of age movie, you would never expect a side character of an older brother to just be fleshed out as well as he was. What did it remind me of? It reminds me of Lady Bird, Saoirse Ronan's older brother in Lady Bird, how like he obviously starts off as like this goth degenerate, not going to school, not getting a job. By the end of the movie, he's like interviewing for the same position as his dad and something like that. And it's like, I don't know, it's like subtle details on like side characters like that I think make this movie like really fucking well. Like even his like one of his best friends, the kid's house, who he like goes to and he's like, "Do you want to write a song with me?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, obviously." And he like, that kid just looks down, he looks defeated, he's kind of looking behind him to see like what his parents are up to, and it's like, okay, he's got stuff going on, and like that little detail you didn't need to add in the movie, but it just adds so much layers to like what this band really means to these kids. And I don't know, it's like small things like that just make me rate this movie so highly. I fucking love this movie so much.
Is this based on a true story? Because like I'm just looking at like the trivia and it says like that Ferdia Walsh, like the guy who plays the main character of Sing Street, his father and uncles attended the real Sing Street Christian Brothers school in real life. So like the Sing Street school at least is a real school in Ireland. But I don't think anything else is based on anything.
I don't think this.
But Sing Street is a real school.
It feels very coming of age. Everything falls into place.
Yeah,
kind of, which isn't true because, like you mentioned, it's about like growing up in a broken home, so not everything falls in place. But he does, get the girl in air quotes because one of the trivia points is that John Carney is like very adamant that they're setting off together, but he wouldn't say that there's some big, huge relationship that's going to last forever. They're kids. They hope. I sort of hope the scene at the end would look a little like a fantasy sequence. So I think like that's where, you get that fantasy ending that you don't know if it's going to work. That makes sense.
But yeah, it's almost probably like a La La Land thing where she's going to be a model, he's going to be a musician. They're kind of just going to achieve their dreams, and the relationship's more secondary.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say that Jack Reynor, like when I first watched this movie, me being a big idiot franchise guy, I'm like, I don't know if I'd seen him in anything, or I didn't remember him in Midsommar. So I just always picture him from fucking
I forgot about
Transformers 4. Yeah. I didn't remember him in Midsommar enough to picture him as that character. I was like, oh, this is the guy from Transformers 4 that has the weird like love relationship with the younger girl.
One thing I thought was crazy is like that when like Aidan Gillen and like his wife get like divorced or whatever, like not like it's crazy, like it's just weird. Like I couldn't even picture what that's like because they're like, oh, we can't get divorced in Ireland, but like so they're like legally separated. It's just like, how does that even work? Like I don't even understand. Like is it just like a thing where it's like they're still married but not together?
Probably.
Like, now it's legal, but still.
This movie's set in like 1984, and I thought it was set in like 2000. Like I did not realize.
I'd even go as far as like 2010 or something. Like, it looked like it could have been like because like there's. Yeah, I guess they use an old camcorder, but then again, it's like maybe that's just like something you find in your parents' garage. You're like, let's film a music video.
That's one of those things that I was like, man, like I did not pick up on that. Did they mention it?
I mean, they had the whole conversation about like how music videos were like a brand new thing. So I think that's what they're telling of like, okay, this isn't like a mid 2000s movie. This is like 80s or something.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
This is not about the movie in any way, but every time I watch a movie and the Weinstein Company comes up, I'm like, that sucks. That just boo that. But not about the movie. Just I always forget when there are Weinstein Company movies, and I'm like, boo for the first like 10 minutes.
There's a chunk of those for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like the only other like knock I could give to this too, like, and it's not a knock, but I think all the other bandmates are very just like not even secondary, like tertiary characters. Like you just really like. I don't other than like the one guy that like wears glasses, but like everyone else is just so nothing in this movie, which again isn't like a negative, but it's like there's a lot of people in this movie that get a lot of screen time in terms of like in camera shots, but like you just like never even hear them speak.
I think if I would have watched this in 2016 when I was 17 years old, I would have absolutely. I still like love this thing. I think it would have been like one of my favorite movies ever. Like with the edge of 17. I think I watched it like 18 or whatever. I love that movie. I think this would be up there for, like you said, Tyler. If I would have watched it in high school, it would have been one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If I would have watched this when it came out, I think for sure this would have been like an instant favorite for me. Which like again, we're still all very high on this movie.
I was gonna say, I guess I'm the opposite because I only watched this for the first time like 2 years ago when I was like 22 or 23 or 24, and it's one of my favorites. I just adore this movie so much. I forgot how old I was for a second.
I was like,
man, I fully forgot what my
and I do say that everyone thinks I'm like 40, or at least on I have a kid, but 23, that's not like I feel like we're talking about like my life is over. It's not. It's simply.
But I mean, just like one more quick like note on ages, like. Yeah, literally when I was growing up, I thought it would be crazy. Like when you ask someone like how old are they and they can't immediately answer. There's been multiple times in the past 2 years of my life where someone's like, oh, how old are you? And I like literally have to think for a second. Like I feel like once you hit like 21, you don't keep track of your age. Like I'm 24 to 26 plus or minus 2. Like I don't know.
Being you at work, everyone's obviously asking me like how old I am, and I keep saying 25 because I just like forget that I just recently turned 26.
I forgot. I thought you were 25 too. I forgot your birthday happened. We'll just say 25 forever. That's a good number. Anything older than that gets scary. We're all 25. Yeah, even Cam, you're 25. You get elevated and you just stay there.
Cam's like 19.
Perfect.
All right, we will wrap up our Sing Street episode there. For everyone asking, and we'll just throw this into this episode, we are going to start telling you guys what movies we're going to be reviewing and recording episodes on for these Real Quicks, just to give you guys time to watch them, and just so that you guys can watch these episodes and kind of be in the know and follow along with what we're talking about. We should have started doing that a long time ago, but we're stupid, I guess.
Better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never. So going forward, we will tell you what movies we will be reviewing, so that you guys can watch. But that was Real Quick, episode 51. Again, shout out our patron Al for the recommendation, and we will see you next time on. Yeah.
Real quick, don't cut it. Someone recommend a really shitty movie so that next week we can just like rip it apart, because it's always hard to review a movie when you're just like, I loved it. Like there's not many things I would talk about. Just someone give me shit and I will pick it for next week. So
I'll give people in advance notice. Post it like right after this before you go do whatever you got to do on Patreon, so then you can get people to get the answers in. Then by Tuesday we'll let everyone know. So like by the time you're listening to this Real Quick, we will have posted on Twitter and Instagram stories saying like, this is the movie we're reviewing next week. Go watch it. So if you're listening to this right now, you will know what next week's will be. So go ahead and check that out. And it'll probably be something silly according to Cam because he's hosting next week.
All right. Well, that wraps up episode 52 of Real Quick. We will see you all next time.